Okay, so it's back on. So yeah, before I get into what I get into, I just want to acknowledge that yes, I know I'm filling my wall. I wanted to film like a regular like a YouTube video, but I didn't want to just do it like on my webcam and all that. But I knew that if I didn't do this by now, because Wednesday is almost here, it's not Tuesday, that I was just not going to do it. But I did want to give my opinion about the last episode of Married at First Sight. So here's the thing. I've I've never seen the first episode of this season, and that's the one, the infamous one. Uh, being that that's how I saw this view this show. I think there was like maybe two episodes I didn't see, and then I just went on from there. Um, I never thought Lyndsay. I've been more on Team Lyndsay, thinking everybody's just been hard on her. Excuse me. And also jealous because she's obviously very pretty, naturally beautiful. And however, um, this last episode to me shed some light on what the problem is. And I don't like the unfair and overly aggressive, but at the same time, although people are siding with her on this episode, this is where I'm like, I see a bigger problem. So, and basically, for my people watching this video who do not watch Married at First Sight, please have an understanding of the show. However, in this particular episode, um, Mark, I believe her husband, takes her to his newly cleaned up home that his grandmother and his mom lived in. And he fixes a nice dinner for her, sushi, her favorite food, and all of that. And this guy is trying. Okay, he's obviously going to say yes on decision day. And then it's like out of nowhere, or at least I'll explain later. For now, let's just say out of nowhere, she starts saying, "Yeah, I could live here if you give me a budget of $500, and I'm gonna take away that '70s stuff, like the she's talking about the fixtures and all of that, like the cabinets, and she wants to redo the floor and the walls." And he said, "Painting, sure, but I'm not gonna like." I don't want to use the word gut, but you know what I mean, remodel the whole kitchen and all that. And then she starts complaining about his dressers and furniture that his grandparents had. Um okay, so now here's the problem is I think the real problem here is she can't understand when he's changing, and it's like she's had a long time, you know, to do this now. I feel like here it should have been handled a little bit more gently. And excuse me. Um I personally understand, like I know enough about relationships, I don't know, from let's say Disney movies and I don't know, just real life, that some people do want to keep their family legacy going. It's like you're just trying to tear down this man's family legacy. Like some men, they propose with their grandmother's wedding ring. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I'm not saying it's appropriate for every single person, but it's not uncommon. So I understand. I mean, with me, I can't speak on what I want in a marriage, but I understand not wanting to move into a house excuse me, and it doesn't feel like your house. And yeah, you want to put your label on it, but it's like you guys haven't even finished talking about it yet, and you're already screaming at the top of your lungs. Like, he's always the one with the problem. Like, don't get me wrong, Mark definitely seems like a frustrating person to be in a relationship with. But in that moment, he was being very genuine, and you insulted him. Now, for those um who've never seen this before, you may think I'm right or wrong. Now, she's insulted him in the past, and I didn't think too much of it. Yeah, she really hits below the belt sometimes. Um, but I really think it was something that was working itself out. Like, she made him, like, we all make mistakes like that, believe it or not. Like, sometimes we do some stuff. It's like that was that was a that was a lot. You know what I mean? However, like with this last episode, I think because it was so toned down, I was able to actually see like the problems. Now, because their relationship is so high volume and animated, I guess it's hard to see a real problem because all you see is the screaming. But in this instance, Lyndsay, I really loved Lyndsay. I really liked her. But in this episode, she was wrong. And I made my point. I just think there are some points that I missed. So if you're done listening to me, you don't have to continue to listen. I'm gonna ramble for a few more minutes or rant or whatever. But yeah, she was wrong pretty much because she shouldn't have went hard on him like that, and and she didn't take the advice from the psychiatrist that spoke to her and said, from now on, like, she didn't say from now on, but it's along those lines. She said, don't go to a place of anger when you talk to him, go to a place of sadness. And I think that if she had to listen to Dr. Pepper and she went to a place of sadness and, well, I'm sad that you want me to live in your grandparents' stuff, and you're not gonna give me an identity of my own. But even so, I still think it's greatly inappropriate. He fixed a nice dinner, you know, and then you already yelling. So I think I see the problem that other people see in Lyndsay. I think I see it today now. So yeah, I'm sorry I came in at 1 in the morning. I wish I had some more comments so I could respond back, but yeah, I think in this episode I saw the true colors. And the true colors is like she needs to calm down and listen. And I don't think Mark was wrong for asking her to live in a home that represents his history. And I also don't think it's wrong um, to change it, but she just went to level 10. Like, it hasn't even happened yet, and you're talking about remodeling the entire damn house and throwing furniture away. Like, on some real shit though, like if if it were the other way around, I would get a divorce because in the first few episodes, she was making him throw away old stuff. And it's like, you want this man to throw away his entire life? I get it if it was just girls, like pictures of his old girlfriends or something, but damn, you want him to throw away his prior life from his apartment. Now you want him to throw away his life, like his mother and his mother's things too. Like, I feel like that's very unreasonable. I feel like in this general, she would not be completely wrong or out of line, but I believe she's out of line because she's being insensitive to his needs. She's being very insensitive. His mom is in the hospital, and you know, but he's trying to start a new life with you, and I don't think he did anything wrong, but I can see how it would be frustrating, and you shouldn't have to take it, but just don't move in with him. There is Dr. Pepper said her husband lives separately. They live in two houses. They can consider that, but honestly, I know that they stay together because everybody apparently in this season stayed together except for Mike and Jasmina, according to the YouTube streets. Nobody stayed together. Ex- I mean, everybody stayed together except for those two. But after seeing this episode, I'm no longer rooting for them. I don't want to say I hope they get a divorce because that's some strong words. You know what I mean? I don't. I even though it's just a television show to me, at the end of the day, it's not just a television show. These people actually got married and put their life on the line, like they really wanted to fall in love. So I don't wish they get a divorce, but for entertainment sake, I would prefer him to get a divorce. However, I'm gonna say this though, even though I know the outcome because of the YouTube streets, I'll tell you this. There was something that he did in an episode, quite a few episodes ago. The way he looked when he said it, when he answered a question, it looked like they didn't stay together. So I'm gonna just say that. So if I didn't know about the YouTube streets, I'd be like, I don't think they're together. You know what I mean? But yeah. If I didn't know about the cheats, the spoilers, then I would say that he didn't stay with her based on his reaction. But I will say though, the warnings that people have said to Lyndsay about the hidden below the belt, um, there I see where that advice is coming in at because it's too much. And I feel like I'm not in a relationship with her or Mark, but I felt it in this episode. It was too much. Like he's literally being vulnerable right now, and you flashed on him, and you're constantly. And that's another thing. I don't like people like I've now I'm making this personal, but I've been in I guess you could say some sort of a friendship like this. Um, yeah, let's not get too personal with me, but I had someone in my life that made me throw a bunch of stuff away. And I really didn't like it. Because one of the things that almost got thrown away was actually a memorial. I forgot the proper word for that, but like, after you leave the funeral service, um, it almost got thrown away. And yeah. And also it gives people like authority. They start thinking like, oh, what was that? And a lot of times people find stuff and it wasn't even yours. And you really don't know how it got there. That's embarrassing. And it's like, he's been through a lot. And I guess she's frustrated about that. I would be too, you know. She's having to hold on and like hold them together. But at the same time, I would say to Mark, like, cut your losses, even though Mark has been more wrong. I see Mark correcting his mistakes. He's trying. And he's also in love with her. I can tell. But at the same time, she was out of line. And I don't think most people would agree with me because it seems small and it seems like something a lot of people would combat. But you also have to realize that she's been hitting him below the belt a lot. And for me, this is the last straw. It's not the last straw. I think for the people who watched the show, their last straw is probably the first time they saw her. But, it's been over 15 minutes. And I know nobody wants to hear me say this, but I mean, continue to talk about this. But I wish that I could have, sat down and wrote down, some stuff and prepared, which I was going to do, but I did not. But I figured I just had to get it off my chest. Um, you know something though? I'm gonna come back and talk about Michael and Jasmina. All right. So I'll talk to you soon. And also, if you want to, just visit my link tree, linktree.com/MsEyez. Thank you. Bye.